Merry Vidmas, everyone. Welcome back. It's CastleGate here, and in today's Vidmas, I'm going to be showing you a very special update, actually, to Bloons TD6. A new tower came in, and even though I've got rid of it already, it was right here in front of the Christmas tree in a present. It is the Dartling Gunner. Yes, that's right. Dartling Gunner is finally back from Bloons TD5. Unfortunately, he was not accompanied by his other missing friend, the Bloon Chipper, but that's okay. We've got one of the towers back, which is awesome. Brand new tower. It has 3 paths, just like every other tower. And there is a proviso when you do get your present here under the tree. You cannot just open it up and get Dartling Gunner already. Unfortunately, there is a small cost. There is a one-time cost of popping 500,000 Bloons before you can unwrap that present. That does not actually, it doesn't work with your current number of popped Bloons, whether it be hundreds of millions or a few thousand. It's from the point where you first saw the present under the Christmas tree. That's when the timer starts for you to go ahead and tick down all of those Bloons. But once you get it, yeah, let me show you what it's like. It's similar, but in my opinion better than the Dartling Gunner that was in Bloons TD5. So, what you need to make the most use of this Dartling Gunner is obviously a track that has very long straight bits so that your Dartling Gunner can make the most use out of them, and also lots of intersections as well with paths so that the Dartling Gunner gets more than one shot at your Bloons. Why would I say that? Because, believe it or not, the Dartling Gunner actually has the ability for you to go ahead and lock it into a specific direction. How good is that? You couldn't do that in Bloons TD5, and honestly, it drove me nuts. I didn't like the Dartling Gunner in Bloons TD5 because it just required too much micromanagement. But this one, you can just set it and forget it, which I love. It just changes it from a tower that's annoying but powerful to a tower that's powerful and not annoying anymore. It just makes it so much better. Anyway, we're not there yet. It does cost, this is on easy, it costs 850 to actually put down, so you can't start with it straight away. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, the Dartling Gunner, he's not exactly great alone. Paired with a couple of other towers, specifically the Monkey Village, the Dartling Gunner can become incredibly powerful, but out the gate, it's quite weak. I'll show you what I mean a little bit later on. These are the upgrades, by the way. The first top path is basically akin to the laser path we previously saw. Second path is akin to the Hydra Rockets path that we previously saw. And the third path is an all-new path, which basically takes the Dartling Gunner and says, nope, instead we're going to stop you from being a gunner. We're not going to have you shoot rockets or lasers. Instead, you're just going to be like first you're going to be a shotgun, and then you're going to be multiple shotguns, and then you're going to be multiple sort of automatic shotguns that can independently fire at different Bloons all at the same time. It's kind of a bit, it's different. We'll get to it shortly, but for the moment, I've just got to set things up, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, a few rounds and a cash drop later, and I'm ready to go ahead and put down my first Dartling Monkey. Yeah, that looks like a good spot. Now, just like normal, it can follow your touch or your mouse, although having said that, it doesn't turn with like infinite speed like the old one. It seems to have a limit to how fast it can try to follow where your cursor is. So keep that in mind when you're trying to maneuver this thing around and you're trying to follow things like maybe pink Bloons or purple Bloons or DDTs for that matter. They may be just a little bit too fast for you. Having said that, for those of you who are very observant, you may have already observed that there is a faster swivel option in the third tier. That does actually make it spin much faster. If you like this micromanaging stuff, that's fine, but here in the priorities, you can actually lock it in place. There's only those two priorities, normal and locked. So, if you're lazy like me, lock it in place and give it a crack. Now, let me slow this down so we can have a look at what it's like. Just like the old Dartling monkey, it's got a very wild spread. Look at that cone. That is very inaccurate. And also, the darts appear to pop... Is it one balloon at a time? It is one balloon at a time. So there's no pierce, there's no popping power or anything. This is just a monkey that shoots darts in a line, quasi-line, in a cone, really fast. That's all the monkey is. Now, let's go ahead and start using upgrades once we finish this round. Which one should we look at first? Let's go top to bottom. So, focused firing. This is pretty much a must, if I'm going to be honest. Focused firing basically makes that cone a lot smaller, and therefore you've got higher accuracy, therefore more chance of shooting balloons that are much further away. It really sort of only becomes an issue around 2/3 of a screen's length away. Aside from that, look at that. Just about every single shot's landing. Oh, look at that. The Monkey Buccaneer is getting a case of FOMO, wants in on the action. Fair enough. So, that's focused firing. Path 1. Let's look at Tier 2. What is this? This is kind of new. Well, it's not kind of new. It is new. Laser shock. Laser tipped shots shock balloons into popping again 1 second after being struck. So it's kind of like burning or like acid from the glue gunner or something like that. And it has the effect of popping the balloons one extra time instead of sticking around and doing multiple times, like burning an acid. So, okay, fair enough. I'm not sure I kind of like the idea of that. I mean, I do like the idea of it if you're manually controlling and you're sweeping the darts across a large group of balloons and you're only hitting them once. So then it would have the most effect by basically shocking them all and having a lot of balloons pop again. But in a straight line like this, I'm not sure it's very useful, because by the time the laser shock has applied itself to a balloon, you've already popped it again with another dart. So maybe against really strong balloons that take a while to take down, this might be useful. But in this particular instance, unless I'm seeing at the very least pink balloons, I don't think that laser shock would actually have an effect. You can see it change the look of the balloons. There is like an electric field that goes over them, but I don't think there's enough time for them to actually get shocked. It also makes me wonder whether or not that electric field is removed if it's popped. Not sure. But anyway, that's that. Probably more useful for, like I said, for people who want to manually control. So if we do something like this... Buccaneer is just getting in the way. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's get rid of the Buccaneer. What do you think? Nah, it's okay. I'm too lazy to do that. Let's just go ahead and play it as is. Buccaneer was... The only purpose for the Buccaneer was to first get me through the first few levels, and also double up as support for any stray balloons, and also triple up as a banana farm. I love Monkey Buccaneers. They're the most versatile tower of the entire game. Straight out the gate. Can pop lead, can detect camo, can shoot in a wide arc, so attack multiple targets, can do burning on those targets as well, and it can be a mana farm if you want it to be. What am I saying, mana farm? This isn't Gemcraft. Money farm. Banana farm. That's the one. So yeah, that's the glue gunner, Dartling Gunner so far, but it gets better. Let's pick a second path to go down. Let's go for the middle one. Advanced targeting, that's pretty obvious. It allows it to hit camo balloons. Now, I take a little bit of issue with this. Honestly, the Dartling Gunner previously basically it didn't need camo detection. It shot darts in an area, in a direction, and if that dart just so happened to come across a balloon, no matter what type of balloon it was, it would go ahead and connect to it. But now, apparently, this Dartling Gunner needs some sort of camo detection for its darts to actually pop camo balloons. So there you go. Out the gate, the Dartling Gunner is less useful in Bloons TD6 than it is in Bloons TD5. Something to keep in mind. So, if you need to do camo detection, you could go down this path, or if you didn't want to go down this path, you'll have to go and get like a monkey village or something put down to allow it to pop camos. But that's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. Next is another familiar upgrade that you've seen before. Faster barrel spin. In other words, makes it fire faster. So, within the top 2 paths for Tier 2, your Dartling Gunner can pop camo balloons. It can shock balloons, which is strange. It can fire faster, and it can focus its fire into a tighter cone. So now the Dartling Gunner is starting to look a little bit more useful. Before it looked like it was a bit average, but now, I mean, you just saw it. It was struggling against the steady stream of pink balloons, but against this semi-stream of yellow balloons, it was handling those just fine. Oh, there we go, some zebras. Yeah, it seems to be holding its own okay, all things considered. I mean, it could be doing better, but let's lock it a little bit higher just to get that angle right. Okay, now that we've got the cache, what do you say we check out the laser cannon? That's a fan favorite from the previous game, but look at that. It doesn't pop lead balloons. Doesn't that suck? In the previous game, they did pop lead. At least I think I'm pretty sure they laser popped lead, but here it doesn't. So, something for you to consider. It's not the worst thing in the world. All you need is a tower that pops lead balloons and put them at the start. And once the lead is gone, that's it. It's not a problem anymore. But yeah, I actually found that a little bit shocking, that you cannot pop lead balloons with it. I think even with the next upgrade, again, you cannot pop lead balloons with this first path upgrade. So, something to consider, actually, if you're going to use the Dartling Gunner. Oh, and also check that out. Dartling Gunner is great against purple balloons before you upgrade them to laser. Once you upgrade this Dartling Gunner to laser, it loses the ability to pop purple balloons, which kind of sucks. It goes from being one of the most useful towers to do that sort of thing to one of the most useless. So instead, you're just going to have to pull the good old trick, not the sniper monkey. You have to pull the old trick of maybe backing it up with maybe like a juggernaut or something like that. It goes ahead and fires at all of the balloons to at least get rid of that one layer of lead. And I suppose that juggernauts can also remove lead. Sorry, remove purple. It can remove a layer of purple, and it can remove a layer of lead, a long stream of them, quite easily. So there you go. Paired with a juggernaut, the laser monkey is pretty good. I wouldn't say unstoppable, but reasonably good. So that's Tier 3 for Path 1, but what about Tier 3 for the other paths? Let's go ahead and have a look at them, actually. Let's see. Do I need the cash? Yeah, I'm not going to blood sacrifice. I need the cash. So, let's sell these guys and start again. Now, let's see. Plonk you down here. Fresh monkey. Second pathway, we have the rockets pathway. And to be honest, this is the pathway I find myself going down the most ever since I've been playing with this Dartling monkey all day. It's probably the most useful, and I'll show you why soon. But which one to pair this up with? Focused firing or faster swivel is the first upgrade for the Path 3. Second one is powerful darts. Move faster and can pop 3 balloons each, as opposed to 1. So you're tripling your pierce, essentially. You're giving it pierce and it can go ahead and pop 3 balloons for each dart, which does make it a lot more powerful. But considering we're going down a route in Path 2 where we're using rockets, and those rockets already have some sort of splash damage associated with them, I don't think you'd be too worried about a little bit more extra pierce. I think you'd be more worried about whether or not this thing is accurate with its rockets that it spreads out all over the place. So, again, I pair this path with Path 1. They work out well. In fact, they go well together. Whichever one you go down, Path 1 or 2, beyond Tier 2, those two paths just go well together. The third path is a little bit different. I'll be showing you that in a few minutes, but firstly, let's lock this guy in place, and let's have a look at its rockets. So yeah, look at that. I'm not missing the rocket's ability to pop 2 extra balloons. I'm not sure if it works that way, whether or not it pops 2 more balloons per rocket, or if it's like, I don't know, it triples the amount of balloons it can pop. Maybe? Who knows? I'm sure it'll be on the wiki soon, but for the moment, I don't know about you, but I'm liking the way this is going. In fact, did you see that? There were black balloons in that little round, and this thing is popping them no problem. Why? Because, if you look at the description, check this out. It's like, remember the Bloontonium upgrade that was in the BT5 Dartling Gunner? That's kind of rolled in with this rocket upgrade. It shoots depleted plutonium missiles instead of darts, which can pop black and lead balloons. So it does both the whole thing of basically popping just about everything, including purple? Maybe? I forget. I think purple only deflects energy weapons, right? Purple still takes damage from splash damage, I think. But yeah, basically this thing can now take down anything. It's got camo straight out the gate because, well, that's in Part 2. And it's doing splash. It's pretty much smashing everything. So there you go. This is kind of like a nice little all-in-one. How does it do against blimps, though? That's the real question. And, well, you know what? I'll give you the answer. At Tier 3, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. What is better, though, is the Tier 4 upgrade. What does this do? It does absolutely nothing to the primary fire of this Dartling Gunner. Dartling Gunner hasn't changed in any way except that it's gained this ability. What is this ability? I'll show you. You know that before upgrading Path 1, how the fire spread was pretty wide? That was nothing compared to this. Check out this spread. After I go into free play, it will continue on. There we go. Let's slow that down. Fires all of these rockets, these purple rockets, and they kind of wave around all over the place, and they've got a really wild spread. These rockets, up close against a group of MOABs, is quite devastating actually, and what you can do to maximize your damage and get really good use out of that ability, which I have been, is to go ahead and put down 2, 3, or even a group of 5 Dartling Gunners all pretty close together, and just when all of those blimps are really close, go ahead and smash this button down here and get all of them activating their abilities, and watch the whole area just get blanketed by those purple rockets. They take down a group of MOABs and even BFBs with relative ease, all things considered. So, yeah, it's an ability, which means you have to micromanage it a little bit, but it's well worth it. It's also cheap too. This particular upgrade cost me, what, $4,500, give or take? And I think it was about the same price for the previous one with the Hydra rockets. So all up, $9,000 from Tier 2 to Tier 4. That's not bad, all things considered. Especially when you look at, say, if you go from Tier 2 to Tier 4 on the laser path, you've got $3,600, which isn't bad, but then you've got 9.35. So already that's about almost 1.5 times the price. And don't get me started on the bottom tier. I think this is worse. Yeah, Tier 4 for the shotgunner is like 10 grand. That's even more than the laser one. So, yeah, it's cheap to get here, but in my opinion, it's more useful than this. And more useful than this. Or at least it's definitely more useful if you lock your Dartling Gunners in a line. Here, let's see that ability again. Let's wait for something juicy to come up close. If something juicy can come up close. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This thing is great. It's just like it's a one-man army. It's just taking care of pretty much everything. Nothing even comes close. I wonder how this would go on round... What's the round of like 90 ceramic balloons all packed into a tight space? Is that round 78 or something? Oh, here we go. Nope, false alarm. That was ceramics. Nope. Nope. Come on, game. Throw something at me. Oh, well. Anyway, let's see it again. It's a bit of a waste, but that's okay. The cooldown's relatively quick, actually. It fires off this ability for almost a third of the time it takes for the ability to cool down again. So, that's not so bad. It's pretty good, actually. I've seen some cooldowns on other towers that are just... They take a lot longer, and it's frustrating. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Let's see. You know what? Oh, here we go. There, that's kind of justified. Not overly, but it just made them disappear. This is called the make everything disappear ability. That's what it should be called. Hey, here we go. Blimp. Go. Like I said, it's called the make everything disappear ability. Oh, it's going to cool down in time. Let's do it again. There we go. Too easy. Alright. After this round, I think that's enough fun with this particular one. We'll go ahead and sell it. And instead, let's have a look at tier... or path 3. What have we got? We've got faster swivel. So now it... Yeah, it's not lightning speed, but it's a lot faster. It's like swivels twice as fast, I think. Almost twice as fast as before. Very good for micromanaging. Powerful darts. Pops 3 balloons instead of 1. Let's see how that goes at the moment, just by itself. I know this is a relatively high round, but... Oh wow, look at that spread. Hold on. Let's focus the firing a little bit. Go away, Adora. Okay, so, come on. It's just a 102 monkey. It's not going to do great. Let's give it the buckshot. And because I don't want to lose too quickly, let's also give it some extra abilities. And let's go ahead and fire target independent. Look at this thing. Now, I know I skipped straight to tier 4, but that's because, well, I was bound to lose. Tier 3 is basically one of these guns, essentially. Oh, no camo. Okay, hold on. Can I afford this? Yes, I can. And you know what? Let's make it faster, because why not? What is this? This is basically tier 3 is like one of these. So tier 4 is just 4 of these. Basically, it's like a shotgun. It shoots a buckshot of sorts. And it's also... It also, believe it or not, does not actually fire its bullets all the way across the screen, just like every other dart monkey or Dartling Gunner. Look at this. See? Buckshot stops around here, so it's got a reach of around half a screen's diagonal length across the playable board. That's all. So if you go ahead and put this on one side and you target it towards the other side of a path, and that's where the start is, don't expect these to go ahead and hit the balloons right at the start. They're going to get well into the map before this thing starts to damage them, but once it does, look at the damage. Did you see? It basically takes everything that's in a line and demolishes them. So yeah, this tower, I'm in two minds about it, to be honest. It does have this strange targeting or priority, which is called target independent, which allows each of these guns to fire at different targets. I'm not sure how, but I think my simple logic, if I had to guess, was to say, okay, there's usually 4 different types of priority for targeting. That would be first, last, close, and strong. So I'm guessing maybe each of these guns, when it's in target independent priority, has each of those 4 priorities, maybe? Or something along those lines. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, relatively strong tower. The tier 3 version is not so strong, obviously. In fact, it's only a quarter as strong. And by itself, it's not really that impressive. But the tier 4 upgrade, it is actually quite impressive. In fact, look at it go. It's having no troubles destroying everything. But it doesn't pop lead. So there you go. Doesn't pop lead until you put one of these guys down next to it, the Monkey Village, and give it the Monkey Intelligence Bureau. By doing that, you also give it Camo Detection. So straight away, it can now pop anything, and it has Camo Detection, and it just cuts right through large groups of balloons. So, interesting tower. And as you can see, it's not so bad against MOABs and BFBs and stuff, but having said that, with the ability, the Hydra Rocket's second path tower is actually, in my opinion, a lot stronger. And a lot more fun to play as well. Yeah, it holds its own. But really, any tower that is worth its salt in this game has to be absolutely devastating to blimps of all types. And this tower, while it does a good job, it's not the path that does the best job. So I kind of like it and I kind of don't like it. Also, I'm sure there is some strange way of taking really good advantage of this mechanic of targeting independently. Ooh, look at that, I almost lost. Oh, look at that. I did lose. There you go. So that's that tower. I think what I'll do is, lastly, I'll just quickly show you the tier 4 for the laser route for path 1. In fact, I'll just go ahead and let's play something in sandbox. See if we can get that going and see if that's worth it. In fact, I can show you everything here. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and get this guy. Chuck him down. Lock him into place. And now that's tier 3, the laser cannon. You saw that before. Plasma accelerator is a little bit different. What is this? This, now I know what you're thinking. It stops there and you think maybe it doesn't have infinite range. It actually does. Here, let me unlock, or let me lock it into a different position. And now it's focusing its fire there. Let me change priority to normal, which is basically our manual. And we can go ahead and put this laser wherever we want. What is going on here? This laser is a little bit different. The laser itself, the beam between the gun and the end point, that beam does pulsate not very fast. It's about as fast as what you're actually seeing it pulsate right now between white and yellow. Any balloon within that beam gets damaged by that beam, I think just by 1 every time it pulses back. So it does some pulsing damage, but the real damage is actually at the tip. So this particular Dartling Gunner, it really does require manual intervention and maneuvering to actually get the most out of it, because this tip here, it really does the majority of the damage. So here, let's send in some stuff. Let's set round to, I don't know, 30. And go. There we go. I'll leave it here so you can see it pulsing and going ahead and destroying the balloons that are there. But let's also let them come in a little bit. I'll focus fire on this one. See how it makes really short work of them? Was that round 30? Alright, let's go round 50. Are we going? Yep. Okay, BFB. No, that's an MOAB. And this is moving too fast. Jeez. Oh, I bit off more than I could chew there. Oh, look at that. The laser actually stays around. There you go. I should probably be doing something like that. Yeah. That didn't go well. It's a good thing I've got almost infinite lives. But yeah, check it out. This thing does a lot of damage at the tip, but not a lot of damage on the beam. So it requires micromanagement. Now, let's go ahead and go one step further. Let's do the Ray of Doom. Creates a solid line of annihilation. You can erase most balloons at your leisure. Whoa. Okay, so no longer a tip that does the most damage. This thing is just always on, always cranked up to 11. Let's lock it in place, a good place, and let's send that same wave out again. See what happens. Can I send it 3 times? No. What a cool animation, by the way. I love the electrodes and the electricity. That's a cool touch. And as you can see, it's absolutely destroying everything. Let's give it something more powerful. Let's go to... Is 78 the one with lots of camo? Oh, sorry, lots of ceramics? Well, if it is, there's certainly no trouble for this thing. Let's throw a couple of DDTs in here. Okay. So, well, oh, there we go. Oh, no way. I forgot. This thing requires... Okay, let's give it faster barrel spin, because let's be honest, that's what you would do. And also give it Camo Detection. And let's try that round one more time, and let's see how it goes against all of those clumped up camo ceramic balloons. Not sure how it would go. This would be interesting. While we're at it, let's just throw in an MOAB. Okay, MOABs are no problem for this. Let's try BFB. BFBs are no problem. What about a ZOMG? Oh, DDTs are camo, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Oh, and you probably missed it, but it took care of those camo ceramic balloons, no problem. So there you go. Oh, wow. I'm just clicking. Constantly sending all of these DDTs. And this thing... Alright. Okay. Right. This is a powerful tower. And it had better be, because upgrade is insanely expensive. Look at this. 118,800. That's not cheap. But, having said that, even though this Ray of Doom is awesome, in fact, you know what? This is my new favorite. Out of all the 3 paths, this is my favorite by far. Let's get rid of this. And let's go ahead and make something else. Let's go for the second path, upgraded all the way to this bad boy called the Mad. And we'll give it focus firing and laser shock as well. Now this thing is almost as devastating to MOABs as what you just saw from that laser thing of doom. Yeah, it doesn't fire a lot of rockets, which means it doesn't exactly do that well against groups of Bloons, but it's not built to take on groups of Bloons. This thing is built to take on groups of blimps. Let me show you what I mean. Oh, and its activated ability is pretty good too. Check that out. It's the same thing as the rocket pods, only the rockets are much bigger and they do a lot more damage. And look at that, it's taking care of purple Bloons, no problem. I mean, the ability does help it take on groups of Bloons, but let's send in a BAD. Look at that damage. Did you see how quickly this thing took down a BAD? I mean, it's struggling with the content, but that's why you've got other towers to support and pick up all the pieces. This guy, this machine, is built to just utterly annihilate. There we go, let's send 4. And let's use the ability. That's insane. I mean, yeah, I'm leaking the Bloons like crazy, but the damage to blimps is utterly insane. It is overpowered in my opinion. Okay, last thing. Let's check out this guy. Faster swivel, powerful darts, buckshot. In fact, you know what? I deprived you of seeing what the buckshot thing does, so that's it, basically. Yeah, let's slow it down and let's lock it in place. Again, cannot reach all the way to the end of the map, which is annoying. But if we just help it out a little by giving it the ability to see everything and shoot everything, and we won't do anything else. We won't make it faster or anything. Let's see how it goes against wave. Not 78. That's probably a bit of a reach. Let's go for wave 34. Why 34 in particular? Well, honestly, I forget what wave 34 had. Wow. I mean, it doesn't shoot rapidly, but its shots are quite powerful. Very powerful. Did you see that? It took on those zebra balloons, no problems at all. What's round 35? Oh, I can send the same round multiple times like I'm sending Bloons. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. He's really struggling. So, once you upgrade them, tier 4, then let's send this same wave 3 times over. I mean, come on. What a massive difference. What a huge difference. It's gone from struggling to just annihilating those balloons. No troubles at all. Not a care in the world. Alright, let's really put it to the test. 78. It's going to struggle. Yep. It's really struggling. In fact, let's give it independent firing. Let it figure itself out. Nope. Still struggling. Well, there you go. It's not absolutely amazing on its own, but in its own niche way, with its directed fire specifically, this thing does a hell of a lot of damage. So if you can find a way of putting it, just lining it up and letting it go in a specific direction to do a specific job, probably to take down anything that's not a blimp, then this thing is quite good. But lastly, the balloon exclusion zone. What does this do? It makes it fire more shots faster and using 6 cannons instead of 4. Let's see. Let's try round 78 one more time and see how we go. Let's speed this up a little bit until the, things get interesting. There we go. Okay, I'm not sure if you know this, but round 78, what you just saw then, that big cluster of ceramic balloons, I think that's like 75 or 90 ceramic balloons, all packed in really tightly. This thing, I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. Coming in at 64,800. It costs a bit, but wow, does this thing deliver or what? Let's do target independent, and we'll send the same round again. So the first round it's still existing. It's just that we're now sending 2 more rounds on top of it. And here come the ceramics. Look at that. It's just utter destruction. And it basically shrugged off that BFB, didn't it? That was easy. Alright. Let's send 4 bads. See what happens. Let's speed this up a little too. Is piercing through the first bad right through to the back one, isn't it? So it's doing the same amount of damage to all 4 bads, I think. Oh, here we go. Now we're struggling. Or not. There we go. DDTs. Wow. Okay, DDTs are not a problem for this guy. And it looks like ZOMGs are not a problem for it either. Now, I know it's not surviving. We are leaking like crazy, but just remember that was 4 BADs at one time. So that's a big ask for anyone. While we're waiting... There we go. So not quite as effective against a just continuous line of DDTs as the Laser of Doom, but against just one BFB and all of its contents, I suspect that this thing is just going to say bye-bye to it all very quickly. Not as quickly as our friend the MAD with its rockets and its rocket ability. That thing is just broken. I'm not going to lie. And the Laser of Doom is kind of in the middle when it comes to taking down all of the blimps. But there you go. That's all the towers. What do I think of the Dartling Gunner? I mean, sure. This and also the MAD. You know what? Actually, having one of each tier 5 tower right next to a monkey village, all in a line like this, shooting one direction, would be absolutely devastating to pretty much anything that comes towards them. So, if you can get to a point where you can set yourself up like that, I would say the Dartling Gunner is good, but is it really useful when you have all of these other towers at your disposal? I mean, is it really as good as, say, a couple of temples of the monkey gods? Admittedly, it's a lot cheaper, especially with all the sacrifices, but, you know, is it really worth it? Would I actually put a Dartling Gunner into play? Well, you know what? There are uses for it. Like, for example, if with my style of play, anything that I play on usually has some water on it. I target the maps with water because I love the Monkey Buccaneer. It is the all-in-one go-to tower. I can't really fault it. It's a bit of everything. It doesn't excel at anything, but it does everything, including being a banana farm. So it's on the top of my list of things I like. The only thing it struggles against is purple balloons. So I would probably consider putting down a Dartling Gunner to take down purple balloons as an option, but probably not my first option, because there are lots of other things I would do as a first option. For example, the cheaper and better option is to just go ahead and put down a Juggernaut instead, especially when you've got a nice long piece of straight track that this thing can fire at and target the last. I mean, look at this. If you can go near, yeah, let's do this. You see? this tower, especially the most upgraded, the Ultra Juggernaut. The Ultra Juggernaut upgrade usually costs around 16,000. The normal Juggernaut costs 1/10 of that. It just makes absolute mincemeat of any and all ceramics. Look, see? It just bowls them over, literally. It sucks against blimps, but then again, we have other towers that we can use for blimps as well, such as your submarine with its armor piercing. You've got there is a version of the plane that specifically attacks MOABs. You've got your sniper monkey. Yes, there is, even though it's pretty expensive, you can upgrade the sniper monkey to pretty much just wipe out and slow down a lot of MOABs. You've got your good old MOAB shove from your heli pilot, which goes ahead and in groups basically takes fast DDTs and turns them into really slow DDTs, which is exactly what you want. So they're useful as well. There's a lot. I mean, even the Ninja Monkey has a upgrade somewhere in one of its paths that actually puts sticky bombs on MOAB. So there's no shortage of towers that do damage to MOABs. Having said that, I have not seen any tower do damage to MOABs like that MAD, which is the new tier path 2 for the Dartling Gunner. It's pretty impressive. So I suppose for the sheer amount of smacking down large groups of MOABs and BADs and whatnot, the Dartling Gunner is now the new, very expensive late game favorite, which might actually help see you through to even higher rounds, such as round 200 and 300 and 400 and as many hundreds as your computer can handle before it explodes from the lag. But aside from that, I'm not sure I would use a Dartling Gunner in my normal play just by playing around, especially early in the game. It's just not justifiable. It's one of those towers, if you sink a lot of cash into it, it becomes incredibly powerful. If you don't, it's just a really bad investment because you don't really get a lot of return on your investment early on. There are other towers that have more damage output per second than this thing for a lot less early in the game. So will I use it? I'm not sure. I'll play around with it a little bit more and see how I go. But anyway, that's all of the abilities of the Dartling Gunner. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. It helps a lot. Slap that like button. Go ahead and tickle that bell. And leave a comment below. Do you use the Dartling Gunner? Is there another way to use it? Have I used it wrong? I mean, I know I've used it wrong. I don't go ahead and just manually try and follow things around. I mean, could you imagine trying to manually have a Dartling Gunner on the ground as well as a heli pilot that doesn't have pursuit, as well as banana farms spitting out bananas everywhere? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. No. It's too micromanaging. Just, you know what? Just tell it here. Shoot that way. Go. Thank you. Done. No problems. And that's what you want. Simple. Have it do a job, in my opinion. And for everything else, just have other towers elsewhere to clean up whatever's remaining. I think that's a very effective strategy. Another effective strategy is to just go ahead and plant down about 10 to 15 of these super monkeys as sun avatars and just have them literally shoot in a line up towards the start or whatever if you can, depending on whether or not the map permits it. And that can also destroy pretty much everything and keep you going and going and going, along with, like, you know, a few monkey villages to make sure that they hit all the camos and also just shoot faster and pretty much everything and all of this. There's multiple options. There's no shortage of options in this game. I'm kind of glad that the Dartling Gunner is a new option. I'm not sure whether or not it's good enough. I've got to flesh it out more. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Do you like this tower? Do you not like this tower? Do you think it's a waste of money? Do you think maybe Ninja Kiwi should stop fluffing around and go ahead and put the Bloon chipper in and make its final upgrade to allow it to take in MOAB class Bloons insanely expensive, like 1,000,000 coins? I think that would be worth it. as a tier 5 upgrade as well, so you could only have one. Let me know, guys. See you in the next video.